Wham! Talk 1600. You're catching the drift. Conservative talk. Intelligent conversations on local, state, and national issues with Gary Wellings, chief editor of the Current newspaper and Current Online. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your host, Gary Wellings.
And good Saturday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to catch our drift. Joining me in studio, Wellings and Ed Bonderenka.
Hey, good to be here. Is this mic on?
That's on. There you go. Look, hey, pull it up. Look. You're going to make it bang.
Squirk, squeak, squeak. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, he did it without making a big noise.
Or the sproing.
That's right, which we get quite often, right? We're not ready when we open up the doors. Hey, so a big week ahead of us, and a couple of big months, and of course...
And a short week, too, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy Labor Day to
cram
everybody.
more in.
Today is the 1st of September, so I think we've got Congressman Tim Walberg calling in second half of the hour, hopefully.
He said he's camping, so let's see how that goes.
Maybe he doesn't have signal, but we'll see.
Hey, we've got a talk from him before from his fishing shanty out on the ice.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
indeed. So, well, what we do on The Drift every Saturday is go over the news that we put on thedailydrift.com. It's
the news you need to know.
Yes, www.thedailydrift.com. I put news from around the world, across the country, and right here at home in our state. So check it out and get the news that you're not getting anywhere else on the mainstream media. And let's take care of a little business.
Hey.
Fall is here, and you're going to have that furnace kicking on before you know it. So you might want to
Wait. Fall's not here.
Fall's here, dude. I can smell it.
September 22nd.
I can smell it from a mile away.
Okay, carry on. I'm sorry.
Dalton Environmental Cleaning can do your ductwork. And you should get it done before the heaters start kicking on, right? So when you get your furnace done, get your ductwork done as well. 1-877-DALTONS, D-A-L-T-O-N-S. That's 1-877-325-8667. Or you can go to DaltonEnvironmentalCleaning.com and tell them that you saw it in the Current newspaper or that you heard it here on the Drift Radio Show. And I'll give you a little plug for Ed. Folks, we need some help advertising in the Current. If you love this conservative newspaper and you own a business, advertise with us because we are helping you and you can help us.
Be a patron.
And be a patriot because there's not very many conservative, patriotic newspapers like this one. Very few.
Yep.
And we're one of the only ones that has managed to grow throughout this last recession, and we need your help to keep in business. So advertise with us, like Dalton's does. 1-877-DALTONS. Get those ductwork cleaned. Okay, so the big story this week, the Nothing Burger story in my book, and we've been hearing it, and I'm getting sick of it.
I'm trying to guess which one you're talking about. There's so many.
McCain.
Oh, okay.
Right? First, let me say thank you, Mr. McCain, for your service as a veteran, as I respect all veterans, right? Thank you very much. And that's all I'm going to say about Mr. McCain, because, frankly, if he were a supporter of Donald Trump, you wouldn't have seen word boo this week about Mr. McCain or his funeral. They probably wouldn't have even laid him in state if he were a Trump supporter. But because all of a sudden John McCain dies and he hated Trump right to the bitter end,
then Obama goes to speak at his funeral.
Obama's speaking at his funeral. The Bushes are speaking. Everybody loves John McCain. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, he's the greatest guy. Let's name a building after him, the whole night. You know what? If he was a Trump supporter, Mr. Schumer, you wouldn't say word boo about John McCain because you called him a racist when he ran for president. So all of a sudden he's a hero now because he doesn't like Donald Trump.
The man knew I'm sorry, I will speak ill of the dead. I speak ill of him while he's alive. You know, there's
I certainly did.
Yeah. And the guy took too long to step down from office.
Yeah, that alone.
There.
You are not doing the best for your country. If you're sick, you're at home, you can't perform the job duties of your office, and you're sitting at home on whatever care that you need just to screw over the president of the United States, and you're screwing over the people that elected you.
Yeah.
He was the guy that campaigned to the state of California, I will get rid of Obamacare. And when it came time to repeal Obamacare, because it was a Trump agenda item, he said, no, I'm not going to vote to repeal it.
And he wouldn't step down so a real Republican could have been replacing him to vote
Yeah. No
Along
hero
the
in
party
my
lines.
book. Thank you
Yes.
for your service, sir. But you know what? You undid any goodness that you've done in your life by being, A, the guy that pushed the Steele dossier, the guy that's worked with the Democrats, the guy that's done everything to screw over the United States of America in the last few years. So, Mr. McCain, wherever you're at, in heaven or wherever, I believe everyone goes to heaven. Some people get the worst part of heaven. He's probably having coffee with Benedict Arnold right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Che Guevara.
he's hanging out with Che Guevara. Yeah,
That's not in heaven, dude. Let me clue you in.
They're picking pineapples. If you get my Little Nicky reference, right? Derek, Little Nicky, ever see that movie?
I've only seen part of it, but I don't remember that reference.
John, go pick your pineapple. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Anyways, I don't like speaking ill of the dead either, so I don't really want to go too much into that.
Just Google John McCain, USS Forrestal.
Yeah. So I did want to get to this first track, though, because here was the economy's booming. Do you agree? I think everybody.
Booming.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? We can't find enough people to work at our plant. We know other people who can't, other plants that
Signs
can't
everywhere.
find. Yes,
Right?
yes.
So the Democrats, of course, have nothing to run on because things are just so outrageously good when it comes to the economic portion of our
run on screwing it up.
Exactly.
Monkeying it. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
Oh my gosh, you're a racist. What?
Dump button, Derek.
We'll get to
Dump button.
that. We'll get to that, hopefully. But I want to play this track here because this is what the Democrats like to do, right? The news is so good. It's indisputable that the economy is going good. So Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have to come up with another way and say, oh, we're going to get another good GDP report coming up here. Let's find a way to redefine what good is, shall we? And so I've got a track here of Chuck Schumer and his minions looking to put some legislation. Now, it's not going anywhere, but it's their way of boning things up, right? Derek, you got track one ready? Listen to what Chuck Schumer wants to do about GDP.
Too often, when we hear that GDP is rising and the economy is booming, as the president claims, there's an assumption that all Americans are reaping the benefit equally when, in fact, wages for the middle class remain flat and income inequality gets worse. To this end, Senator Heinrich and I, and many others, will be introducing new legislation today, and you'll hear more about it from Martin, that requires new income growth data to be published alongside quarterly GDP reports. For too long, we've relied on GDP alone as a bellwether for how Americans are faring in the economy, when we should be looking as well at income data across the economic spectrum. Americans' working families deserve the full picture when the federal government publishes data showing how the economy is doing, especially with the quarterly numbers. This legislation cuts right to the heart of the matter, seeks to present a clear and accurate picture of who the economy is really working for. So far, corporations are cashing in, American workers are falling behind. We Democrats are committed to fix that.
We Democrats are, what world is this man living in?
Really?
Wages aren't going up? Hello?
What?
They're going up for the first time ever, Mr. Schumer.
Yeah.
Take the blinders of hate.
Because we're reaping the benefits of everything that Obama did for 8 years. It's finally coming to pass.
Oh, my gosh. Folks, election is coming. And if you really want to make things better, let's get the rest of these morons out of Washington, D.C. And that includes Debbie Stabenow.
Oh, get rid of Debbie Stabenow.
And that's something we can do here in the state of Michigan. Make sure you're voting for John James.
Yeah.
Take a page out of the Trump book. What have you got to lose? Debbie has done nothing but side with that moron, Chuck Schumer, they want to take away our tax relief because it's peanuts.
Re-regulate, increase regulations. Yeah.
I'm just
send jobs back overseas.
I'm mortified. Yep. We're going to have to take a break just because I need to catch up. Go ahead. You had something.
Well, I was going to tell you that a couple of years ago, my son showed me a video, and as a woman was talking about storytelling, and it wasn't the focus of what he wanted me to see, but she told a story where she was a doctor, a renowned doctor, and she was retired. And early on, when she was an intern, they had somebody they were doing chemo on and radiation, and they sent the guy home to die. They couldn't do anything more for him. And 2 years later, he comes back, and he's cured. He's alive. They thought, well, what happened to you? He says, well, I prayed and God healed me. And it's, yeah, whatever, you know. So they all these doctors convinced themselves that the chemo had actually kicked in after not being used for 2 years. That's what the lady said. She says, I couldn't believe we were so stupid that our belief system would not let us believe anything except that, well, maybe something the chemo did and the radiation did actually took effect, even though they sent the guy home to die.
Huh?
Okay, so now she realizes, she's come to the realization, it was something else, let's say God, okay, that healed the guy. I think of that every time I hear the Democrats say, oh, yeah, the economy's booming. Everything that Obama was doing for 8 years has finally kicked in.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. Hey, so we've got one of our listeners didn't want to talk. Listener Marv wanted to know if any Vietnam War POWs attended John McCain's funeral. I thought I heard this morning that there were 6 guys that had been in the Hanoi Hilton with him showed up at the funeral. Don't know their names or anything else.
Interesting that you didn't hear their names alongside all the politicians that were there.
Exactly. Those are the guys that should have been getting a little airtime, right? And so I don't know, Marv, of any guys, but Don Miller, who's a longtime listener of the show, sent me some interesting facts, and I think I would rather cover this than anything else with Mr. McCain. The Vietnam Memorial Wall. There are 58,267 names now listed on that polished black wall, including those added in 2010. The names are arranged in the order in which they were taken from us by date, and within each date, the names are alphabetized. It's been 36 years since the last casualty. The first known casualty was Richard B. Fitzgibbon of North Weymouth, Massachusetts. The Department of Defense listed him as having been killed on June 8, 1956. His name is listed on the wall with that of his son, Lance Corporal Richard B. Fitzgibbon III, who was killed 9 years later on September 7th, 1965. There are 3 sets of fathers and sons on the wall. 8,283 were just 19 years old. 39,996 on the wall were just 22 or younger. 5 soldiers on the wall were 16 years old. 12 were 17 years old. One soldier, PFC Dan Bullock, was 15 years old. Now, I imagine these kids lied to get into the service, right? Mm-hmm. Must have been a big kid for them. Who knows?
It happened in World War II regularly.
Yeah. 997 soldiers were killed on their first day in Vietnam. And that's sad. You know, walk off the plane and didn't make it. It's just terrible. 1,448 soldiers were killed on their last day in Vietnam. That's tragedy. Terrible, right? 31 sets of brothers are on the wall. 31 sets of parents lost 2 of their sons. And one of the oddest statistics are 54 soldiers attended Thomas Edison High School in Philadelphia. All from one school. Pretty crazy, right?
I think I remember reading about that, yeah.
Yep.
Is there a football team that all signed up?
There is
a high school football team, they all signed up, and they all
might be this one, the Buddies of Midvale. Leroy Tafoya, Jimmy Martinez, Tom Gonzalez were all boyhood friends, lived on 3 consecutive streets in Midvale, Utah. 5th, 6th, and 7th Avenues. They all played ball. Oh, that's not the football team. All played ball together. Yeah, interesting that, you know, I've been to the wall once when I was in Washington, D.C., twice now, actually. And it's very, very moving. So, you know, take a few minutes today. And here's the thing, you know, we treat our veterans, I think, better today than we ever did, but there were a lot of years where we didn't treat our veterans very well. And
when we were told to don't wear our uniforms when we come home.
Yeah, and that moves me because when I hear about our guys, well, we're going to have to take a break. So, Derek, when we come back, we will move on to something different that doesn't touch me. And
I will say a Google search shows no POWs. It doesn't say they didn't attend.
Yeah. You might want to try DuckDuckGo because who knows what Google's doing.
Yeah, there
right?
you go. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see all of you on the other side of this short break. See you in a minute.
Hello, Wham listeners. I'm Edwin Hoffman, host of Speaking of Art. Join me Saturdays at 3 p.m. We'll circumnavigate the world of art with lively interviews with renowned artists, collectors, dealers, museum directors and curators, writers, actors, musicians, and philanthropists. Close to home or far afield, we'll visit museums,